Born in Würzburg, Germany, raised in New Jersey, declared stateless, now a Jamaican citizen. Reuben Simpson's story continues. You're watching our very own Locked Up Abroad, and this time we're joined by Joan Pinnock, Esquire, an immigration attorney since 1997. She's also the president of the Jamaican American Bar Association. Joan, thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Who is classified as a Caribbean immigrant?
Okay, a Caribbean immigrant is anyone living in the Caribbean who has a desire to migrate to the United States and who has migrated.
And by law, especially the US law, how would you define a green card holder, a resident, and a citizen of the United States?
The difference? Okay, well, a green card holder is someone who's actually had someone file a petition for them. They've come to the United States and they live here for a period of time, and within 5 years from that time period, they're able to apply for U.S. citizenship. And as a U.S. citizen, you enjoy all the rights. You can live here, you can work here. If you break the law, you can go to prison, as opposed to getting deported back to your country. Pretty much, if you're a permanent resident, you're limited with regard to the rights that you have. It's not the same.
So green card holders and residents can be deported?
Absolutely, they can be deported. Citizens will get tried. The only time a U.S. citizen will probably be sent back is if they've committed an act of treason or something that's egregious to the point where it's against the government.
The Jamaican authorities are saying that he doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
The U.S. authorities say that he doesn't belong here.
Yeah. So,
which declared him stateless.
And wait, and the German authorities said no way does he belong there. They're
one
saying
of his parents has to be a German.
Right.
For him to be considered a German.
And technically speaking, he was born on American soil,
right,
even though being in Germany.
And the ironic thing is that when they did send him, we were both citizens. We've been citizens for years. When you decided to send him, that they didn't look at the fact that his father was a citizen, I was a citizen.
He was born basically here. And why is he there?
They gave me my final order of deportation, and I just started trying to think the best of Jamaica or Germany. I requested travel documents from Germany, which is my birthplace, and I got a letter back from Germany a month later, a little less than a month later, saying, Mr. Simpson, just because you were born on German soil doesn't make you German. They also wrote they wrote a PS that said, Mr. Simpson, technically I'm not from Jamaica either, because they know that they were trying to get travel documents from either place.
This is by no means an ordinary, normal situation that you'd find in any deportation case. You're watching our very own Locked Up Abroad.
I was woken again in the morning, about 2 o'clock in the morning, and told to pack all my things. When I got down to the reception area where we get signed out and stuff, I noticed that all the people down there, nobody was speaking English, and like it was all immigration people. So I got frightened. I started asking the people where we going, and they said they were going to another jail. At the same time, nobody would tell me where I was going. We were loaded up on a bus, and they took us to the airfield, and they put us on an airplane and shackled me up from feet to my hands and around my waist, and like a mass murderer. And we flew to Alabama, from Alabama to Mississippi. And we went to another jail in Louisiana, and we picked up people. And we stayed over a couple nights in a different immigration jail in Louisiana. It was just like one room with like 90 people from different cultures. They put us on another airplane, and that's when they say, yeah, everybody that's going to Jamaica, and that's how I ended up knowing I was going to Jamaica.
How does that make you feel?
Frustrated, angry. I'm just, helpless.
Helpless. Tell us of some of the cases that you have dealt with in your line of work.
Sure. We have represented Trinidadians, people from Guyana, Barbados, Jamaicans. And typically what will happen is if someone is either convicted of an offense, or if their application to immigration, say they apply for a green card and it's denied, most oftentimes they'll be put in removal or deportation proceedings. Removal proceedings is actually the new name, and at that point you will have to prove to the immigration judge as to why you should be allowed to remain in this country. If the judge finds you deportable, if they find that you've not won your case and you've not proven, met your burden and proven
Yeah.
your case, then you will be sent back to your country.
Let's look a little bit more now on the family unit as a whole. So we have a situation where we have parents married here on the U.S. soil. They are both green card holders.
Okay.
They have a child here in this country. What nationality would that child be?
That child would automatically, definitively be a U.S. citizen, as long as the child was born here on U.S. soil.
Even though the parents only have a green card.
Doesn't matter.
And that is irrespective of the circumstances where a child might be born, say, outside of the U.S. because the parents are traveling, or
Well, if the
or
child's
parents
born
are away at
outside the
work.
U.S. citizen, that's a little different. Because then that child would not, unless in a situation where the child was born on maybe an army base, on U.S. soil. Now the parents would obviously have to take steps, and the first thing would be, securing a U.S. citizen birth certificate.
A Jamaican citizen who was incarcerated.
Right.
They gave birth in prison while incarcerated in the United States.
Okay.
Can you help me to understand what nationality would this child be?
That's a U.S. citizen.
Now, here is a young man who was born in Würzburg, Germany, while
Okay.
his father was in the U.S. Army, based in Germany. He was born in a military hospital, which was considered to be military soil.
Okay.
He was taken back to the United States, where he
Okay.
spent all his school years here.
Okay.
He grew up here all his life. He found himself on the wrong side of the law and was deported to Jamaica. Do you think, in your line of work, do you believe that this is justified?
I think it's wrong. I think that gentleman clearly did not have counsel in immigration court. I think if there were an attorney representing him at the time, that lawyer should have proved that the fact that he was born on U.S. soil should have brought documentation to the attention of the judge to show that he was a U.S. citizen, should have made a claim for citizenship on his behalf.
I called the Jamaican embassy in New York and asked if they, explain my situation to them, and they gave me the name of an attorney. To tell you the truth, I didn't even have the money to do it. I just used my mortgage to pay her.
We filed the N600 form, the lawyer, and the N600 form is basically where you would try to derive citizenship through your parents. They did the investigation on the paper, and about in 3 months' time, I got a response back saying that I was denied. My mom and my dad were divorced, so when my dad got his citizenship when I was living with him in 1992, my mom was filing me on her taxes. Because, like I told you, they're like 15 minutes away. I didn't know that was wrong. That was the reason why they rejected me getting my citizenship through my father at 12 years old, because I was living with him.
I just want someone to explain to me if that was their child and everything the same, how would they feel having their child sent there? And I can understand if we had him there on vacation, he had relatives, he knew that Uncle Bob lived here, or he knew that he's never touched that soil. Ever. He wouldn't even know how to get from the airport to.
If the parents are green card holders, typically you're not a U.S. citizen if you're a child born to those parents, unless you naturalize and you become a U.S. citizen prior to the child's 18th birthday. But if you were born on U.S. soil, then there's an argument to be made that you are truly a U.S. citizen because of the place of your birth, because you were born while your father was in the service of his country.
And from a legal perspective, where do you think the law might have failed Ruben in the situation?
I think
like
it's
this?
either that because he had a German passport, or it's possible that
Birth certificate.
birth certificate, because at the time of the immigration hearing, when he was in removal proceedings and when a judge had to make a decision as to whether or not he was sent back, that's where the issue should have been raised, that this man is not deportable because he's a United States citizen and he should be allowed to remain in the country, and let me get the proof to show where he was born and what the circumstances were, and case law. Okay, to show that a child born on U.S. soil is a U.S. citizen.
Ruben, when he tells me, he says, it's like, I did something wrong, and then they sent me to hell, and this is where I'm finishing up my punishment. That's it. It's like, basically, you're going to get punished again. You haven't finished serving your time.
At what point do we stop to think, how do we feel about this story? How does this story fit in your own comprehension? It is not our aim to point the blame at any one person or any party, but this is an issue that we need to speak about. You've been watching our very own Locked Up Abroad. Stay tuned.